Hello gamers all over the world and welcome to Video Game Bros. My name is Daniel aka Jack Nakiri, and today I'm bringing you a Black Dashes Online video, and it's gonna be a guide to how you can build your own fishing boat in this game. I recommend you to make your own fishing boat. It's a great way to get into the game and to learn some of the complex systems that it's in the game. For example, the node system and the worker system, which are quite hard to grasp in the beginning. Also, it will allow you to level up some of those important life skills such as gathering and processing. Also cooking, because your worker's gonna need a lot of beer to wanna work. Alright, so I just finished gathering all the materials I need for my boat, so I'm gonna go through them all and show you how I gather them, process them, and then we're gonna get back here and I'm gonna start crafting the boat. So there will be some materials we're gonna gather ourselves and some that we'll order our workers to get for us, and how you balance this and what materials you want to gather on your own and what materials you want to get your workers to get is totally up to you, but I'm gonna tell you how I did it for each material required. Let's get going. Alright, so we are currently in Velia, where we are gonna have our base of operations for about the first half during the gathering process. And the first material we're going to get or look at is the bronze ingots, which is a big part of the ship. And yes, in real life, bronze is made up of is an alloy made of tin and copper. And we're gonna start by looking at the copper. And we're gonna let our workers deal with the copper. And around Velia, there are 4 nodes which has copper for your workers to mine. It's the coastal cave, which has 1 node, the goblin cave has 1 node, and the imp cave, which has 2 nodes. So that's a very good node. To get to the imp cave, you need to invest in Loggia farm as well, which is good because it has potatoes which you can use to make beer for your workers. So let's go out here and grab coastal cave so we can get some work done. Alright, so we ran over to the coastal cave node manager. So we're gonna talk to him and select node management, and this will let us invest in this particular node. So we'll do that by spending 1 contribution point. And then to start mining, we actually need to select the copper node itself and invest in that as well. Now you can see we can start to mine some copper ore. So you see this worker is in this town, so I can select him, select the number of times that I want to repeat the process of mining copper. So he has 16 stamina at the moment, so I could possibly put 16 here, but I don't. I already have gathered all my copper, so I won't do it. But you just hit start work when you select an amount of times, and you can see here the time it takes for 1 repetition that will bring in a number of copper ores, and this is dependent on your worker. You see different workers have different times. These guys are in another town, so it will take a while for them to walk here. But there are 3 types of workers. There are goblins, humans, and giants. This is a giant. He's, as you can see, he's quite slow, and but he has a big, large stamina pool, so he can do lots of things before you need to give him more beer. To regain his stamina as well. This is quite lucky, and so he's slow and a good worker. There's the goblin that's fast, but it's slightly sloppier, and this human is like the middle ground. You can get whatever. There's white, green, blue, and yellow grade. It's naive, normal, skilled, and professional, and they're better as the higher the grade. So get started working. Alright, so this is one node. I suggest investing in this node, which has the 2 copper and the imp cave. That should be fine. You can also get this node, which is connected to Heidel, which could be good because you get a free worker here. The first worker you can get for free, and after that you need to get lodging. You can get that by selecting a house which has lodging, and select lodging, which will get you the possibility to hire another worker in this town. And you do this at the work manager here with the pickaxe symbol. Alright, let's get back to town and see what we're gonna do with all this copper. Alright, so we're back in Velia, and our workers has collected some copper, which and the collected copper you can get from your storage. And we have some copper here. Before we can combine it with the tin to make bronze, we need to process it, and we need to convert it to more refined material, that is melted copper shard. So to do this, you can right click it or just click produce here. Select heating, because we want to melt the copper, and then just input the copper and hit start. 5 copper ores will produce 1 or 2 metal copper shards, depending on your processing level. So I got 1. If you're lucky, you get 2. This means that the process can be more or less painful. So in worst case, we're gonna need 125 total copper, melted copper shards, which means, well, worst case scenario, you're gonna have like something like 625 copper ores. So that's quite a lot. But your workers, if you have all the 5 nodes, the copper nodes we talked about, you're gonna have it in a day or so. If you keep your workers' stamina up, it's going to be done in a good time. All right, so the copper, we wait with the bronze till we have the rest of the materials. We're gonna move on to the next material, which is, let me check my notes. Yes, the usable scantling. This material is made from the raw material logs. Right, so we're gonna get some logs. And how do you get logs? Well, you chop down trees. So you need an axe, which you can get from the material trader, something like that. I think you can search it. Material here. If you click this, it will guide you to the vendor, or you can buy it from the marketplace too. Well, when you have axe, you go and you chop down any tree. See, this is an ash tree. It will work just fine to get logs. Preferably, if you walk past the birch tree, they are also especially good because we're gonna need birch later. But just chop down any tree to get the usable scantling, because we're gonna need to get our gathering level up as well. Right, so we get some logs. Let's keep chopping down some trees here. I'm gonna show you, because we need to make these logs into usable scantling. Similar to how, nope, not this tree. Let me queue up another gathering. Similar to how we did the melted copper, we need to process the logs into usable scantling. Alright, so let's see here. We got our some logs. We do the same thing, but this time we select shopping or shop. You see here, I have done it before. I have learned usable scantling. So just input the logs and hit start. So let's see here. The result of this process is the usable scantling. Come on. Alright, so when you process 10 logs, you can get 1 to 2 usable scantling. So this means that we are gonna need 25 usable scantling. So worst case, if you just are unlucky and get 1 each time, you're gonna need 250 logs, but usually a little bit less than that. Alright, so that's it for logs. Alright, so for the next material we're gonna look at it's the black stone powder. And the raw material for making black stone powder is rough stone, which you can get from mining any rock with a pickaxe. So equip your pickaxe and head up to a rock. This is a feldspar, if I pronounce it correctly. So just start gathering from it. The black stone powder is slightly different from previous materials we've been looking at in how we process it. So you see here I got the rough stone. You can get it from any rock that is you see you can gather from, but the tip is to grab them from granite, because they also have a chance to have copper in it, which we need for the boat, or for the bronze in the boat as well. So we're gonna need 30 black stone powder, and each black stone powder requires 2 rough stones. So that's 60 rough stones. And we're not gonna process this ourselves. I don't, maybe you can, but we will put this in our storage in town. So I have some rough stones in the storage here in Villa. And what we need here is to find a house that can be used as a refinery. For example, 5.1 here in Villa. Refinery. This is where you make the black stone powder. So if you get this, it takes 5 minutes to build, but it's you can spend some contribution points on it, or 1. Wait 5 minutes and you're ready to go. So I'm gonna fast forward here. Alright, so we got our refinery. So we're ready to create our black stone powder. We're going to hit manage crafting here in the refinery, and we're gonna let our workers craft the black stone powder for us. You select your worker from the list, and it takes 2 rough stones per each 1 black stone. As I said, we're going to need 60 rough stone to make 30 black stone powder. And you select the number of times you want your worker to repeat it. So you're gonna have to do it 30 times over. And then you just hit start work, and they will start running over here to the refinery and start crafting black stone powder. Yep. Alright, so that's the copper, usable scantling, and black stone powder. So when you have about when you have your 125 melted copper shards, or around 600, 550 to 600 copper ore, as well as your 25 usable scantling and your 30 black stone powder, that's when we're done with Velia. Alright, so what I did was I spent my contribution points to get the nodes here with the copper nodes, as well as, you know, buying storage and lodging for my workers, and and this was a while ago, so I didn't have this many contribution points. If you have lots of contribution points, you don't need to move everything, but that's what I did. I basically just shut down my whole production here. I retracted all the nodes and sold my my buildings to get my contribution points back. You can do this by selecting the node and then hit contribution withdrawal, and you get your contribution point back, no problem. So if you are new to the game, you can fiddle around with grabbing nodes and testing like different things out. You can always get your contribution points back. So you can never waste contribution points. So that's a good thing. So I got all my contribution points back from Velia, and then it was time to head to Calfion. This is the large capital of this of Black Desert Online, and this is around this area is where we're going to get the last materials we need for our fishing boat. So let's ride here, and I will fast forward to that. Alright, so when we are in Calfion, we are going to start to gathering the birch or birch logs, and this will be one of the major components of the fishing boat. We're going to need about 1,800 or less, depending on luck and your processing level. But you can get birch from 3 different nodes around Calfion. You get the Quint Hill with 1 node, so birch timber. You get the Bree Tree Ruins and the old whatever. This node. Alright, so I put all these 3, and I constantly produce the birch timber for my workers there. This is like one of the biggest tasks for the boat making part. Okay, so when your workers have started to bring back some birch timber, you can start to process it. And this processing is done in 2 stages. First, we need to convert the timber to planks, and then the planks to the plywood. Right? So for the boat, we're going to need 50 birch plywood. And for making 1 birch plywood, we're going to need 10 birch planks. Following? That means we're going to need about 500 birch planks. And if we process timber, I will show you here. Oops, wrong button. By chopping the timber, we produce planks, and 5 timber becomes one or 2 planks. In this case, 2. This depends on your processing level. So, yeah, this time it was 1. Okay, so let's stop this for a moment. Yes, you will need 500 of these planks, and so that will be, what is it, like, yeah, so worst case you're going to have to get 2,500 timber, but you quite often get 2, so it will maybe it will end up in like 2,000 or 1,800, something like that. Anyhow, it's a lot of timber that we're gonna need to collect. That's why we want to get our workers working on the birch farms, as fast as possible. Alright, so while they are gathering birch, we are going to collect the next material on the list, that is pine sap. This is one of the more simple ingredients to gather. The birch sap, to get it, you're gonna need a or a fluid collector. It sounds quite nasty. Sounds like a tool that like plague doctors would use. I don't know. Anyhow, you equip the fluid collector and you walk up to a pine. They have this kind of very straight appearance. So just walk up to it and gather the fluids from it. And very nice sound effects on this one. So we're going to need 30 pine saps. And the glorious thing about pine sap is you gather it from the trees like this and you're done. So you need to do this 30 times approximately till you have 30 pine sap. Then that's it. Right, so the last raw material we're going to need to gather is tin for the bronze. Alright, so we're going to need the same amount of tin as we need copper, so it's 125 melted. In the same way you're going to process the ore of the tin ore to melted tin shards. Right, so equip your pickaxe and you're going to start chopping up stones. So I found the diorite that is scattered like everywhere around Calcium. It has tin as well as lead, so you're going to have lots of spare lead after you gather all your tin. Maybe there's a better like stone to get tin from, but I find diorite to be very good for this. You just run around the area around Calcium and chop up every stone you can like this. You could also get your workers to mine it. I think there is 1 or 2 tin nodes somewhere south of Calcium. I'm not 100% sure. You need to look that up if you want your workers to get tin, and you can yourself get the birch or let your workers do everything. That's totally up to you. I gathered the tin myself. It was quite a process and it required lots of energy, but it was worth it. So the same way, when you get your 600 something tin ore, you heat it up just like we did with the copper, like this, but I don't have enough. And it's the same ratios as well, I believe. So let's see here.
Max out your fishing ability and salt water. Now there's actually another mechanic here that's kind of crazy that also affects this bike time, and that's not enough resources. If it's exhausted, it actually takes much longer than if it's abundant. If you get a good abundant area, it's only like 20 seconds for the fish to bite, which is just insane. Finding an area that's safe though, and you can't be PK'd is an issue, but I will show a location here in a minute. So if you're going for relic shards, you want to stay over here. There's a lot of different locations, but I did test this. The eastern side, the Bellion, is good for relic shards. But if you go over here just a little bit, there's actually a hot spot right here in the safe zone. It's also exhausted. Let's see these people. Whenever you see a hot spot, you'll probably notice a bunch of people hanging out. This area right here, you'll catch tons of gold and bluefish. And the reason that's important is to level up your fishing, actual fishing experience. So if you've got a low fishing and you're going through durability like crazy and you want to AFK longer, have a longer durability, you're going to want to upgrade your fishing as much as possible. And this is a really good spot. You'll get tons of fish. At the end of this, I'll probably show how you can cash those in to the Imperial Fisher or Marketplace to get even more. Over here, you won't get relic shards as much, if at all. But if you just want to up your fishing and get some silver, this is a really good location. Again, this is exhausted, but it's in a safe zone. Now, one of the other tests I did was abundant versus exhausted, which is just another way to cut off the time. And there's actually a really good spot just off the shore of Elliott. So you'll need a boat for this, or just a raft. I think everybody got a free boat. I'm going to show you how to triangulate and find fishing spots too. But you'll notice on some forums where somebody will give you a code number or location. It'll be 3 numbers. How to do that? Pull up your map. Alt click. 3 locations that are given to you. So you can see I've got 3 locations. Now, you'll see these little numbers, 320, 320, 170. You can actually triangulate the different hotspots and special areas following these numbers. So you can see I can see all 3 right now. This particular spot is 420 from Value, 190 from Crown Castle, and 100 from the Flounder. So I just watch all these numbers pretty much and get the location. This triangulation works pretty well. Somebody who just sees a good spot that has a certain amount of fish or super income. That's how you can do this. Okay, so we can see I got pretty close. 100 to that, 190 to Crown, 420 to Velvet. This is a location that I found that's abundant with tons of relic shards. Now you'll notice I just cast that. And, I was getting 20 to 25 seconds for a fish to bite, which is super fast. But since you're getting relic shards here and you can really knock those out, this is a good spot to AFK. The only problem is not a safe zone. I'm going to post some more of these. I got to figure out a way to do it so that people can't just go to hotspot to kill people. Because I did go, when I was testing this out, this doesn't show me the code. Oh, yeah, okay. I did go to a couple different hotspots to test them out, and they work great. Not in safe zones, and decay pretty quick. So you're probably going to have to stick to a safe zone, especially if you're a warlord, and just reefers going around killing fishers anyway. So you can notice you get fast bite here. Make sure you got the AFK rod. If you're a new player, there actually is no requirement on this, so you can get this right away. Just slowly upgrade it, +1, +2, +3, and aim for +10. The other thing that people were arguing with me about is penguin. You've got to have the penguin. At level 1, it's only 10% reduction on AFK time, and at level 10, it's 20% reduction. So you definitely want to level this guy up before it starts feeding. You must fill up that bar with food before you go AFK for 7 or 8 hours, because as soon as that runs out, you lose that 20% AFK reduction. So keep him fed, and you can keep your alchemy stone on if you don't have 5 fish. I'm going to show you one other trick here after I catch this. Okay, so I'm up here back at the beach in Belia. And remember, we're here in the eastern part, the right side is just the relic shard safe zone. But one big problem, a lot of the high-end fishers are locked in at this inventory space of 134. So if you have like 80, 90, 100, or even under this, you're going to want to do a couple different things. When you cast, always make sure to throw away useless and white items when you're doing the relic shark anyway on this side. Because once you fill up your inventory, you stop fishing. It was also recommended to me that even just having this 10 and branded, you will actually fill up 192 spaces in any actual fishing hotspots over a 7 or 8 hour period. I'm not going to be spending too many pearls to get 192 right now, but if you have it, you're going to want to come over here to any of the fishing hotspots where you get nothing but fish and load up on that. That's actually the really fastest way to actually level up your fishing skill. And there's a pretty good way to find where all these good hot spots are. I'm not sure if anyone's gonna like this, but if you run up here in Valley again, there's a couple other locations in the world, but you can actually come up here to the tavern. You'll see this guy in the corner here, but what we'll do, pull up your screen, and you can get fishers. Alright, so I can see this guy pretty high rank. I'm looking for someone. Okay, so I just this NPC lets you actually find anyone or where they're located currently in the game. I just looked up one of the top fishers. He's actually right here on the fishing hotspot. So you can actually track these guys and find out where they're fishing. You can find the secret spots. That's usually where you'll find them. You've got a pretty good list. I'm rank 13. I never really active fish as AFK, so now that I know about AFK and fishing hotspots, that should pop up a little. Alright, I'm going to cut this again and switch to Glish for the Imperial Fishing. Okay guys, so I ran down here to Glish just to show a little bit how, if you're using the hotspots anyway, it comes with the yellow blue fish. So we're up here to the Imperial Fisher. There's actually one of these in Velia too. Distance does not factor into this. You'll see this is the same before. Every 3 or 4 hours this will reset, but there's a limit on each type of fish that's shared among all players. So if you have an issue with this, you can either wait 4 hours or switch channels. Of course, right next door. For here, distance does matter, and the nodes need to be connected. Actually, I believe the nodes need to be connected to the Imperial too. So in this case, you can see I'm connected here, where I got the fish. So I picked up this one up here for the abundant area. So just to review everything, to max out your fishing speed while AFK, keep your fishing ability at 5. Always fish in salt water over fresh water, because that salt water is always quicker too. Exhausted versus abundant. Abundant will always be faster, so try to do that. Finding an abundant salt water in a safe zone, not going to be easy. And if you go to that one location I showed you with the triangulation, that's a good spot. But of course, you're always going to worry about okay. And I think that just about wraps up everything. Good luck with your fishing. Hopefully, you can settle with this. Subscribe if you can. It helps me out with YouTube. I'm not going to smoke YouTube. Thanks a lot.
Hello everybody, hello. Today I'm coming at you with a little money guide for everyone who's below, I should say 160 AP and wants to make some quick money. The EXP gain is pretty nice. I will show you it on the map right here. Just zoom out a little bit. Pretty much right below Tariff or next to Tariff. This whole area is full of wandering rogues. You can make up to 20 million an hour if you're really lucky, but generally I would say around 8 to 10 million an hour. The area is full of wandering rogues. You can make up to 20 million an hour if you're really, really lucky, but generally, I would say around 8 to 10 million an hour. I mean, you make around 4 million only in collectibles. I have a couple in here, which are 31,000. So you need 600 of those for 1 million, which is a really, really good price. One of the only collectibles that only need 600, which is really, really good. So this is your main money income, which is around 4 million an hour, only in collectibles. There are a couple of drops, like the necklace of Schultz the Gladiator, which is right now really low in price. Normally it's around 5 million. This is actually retarded. Whatever. And the belt of Schultz the Gladiator as well. Those two are the rare drops. You can also get forbid books. I can't write for the. Those have a really high chance because there are a lot of elites in this area, so you get around 2 to 3 books an hour, I would say, if you're kind of lucky. So those are the main drops you want to look out for, and I will show you the way from Terra to my main rotation and a couple of spots you should keep in mind, because there are a couple of little areas that you can abuse, I should say, whenever you walk into my rotation and walk out of my rotation. So let's keep on going. Starting at Tariff, going over that little. By the way, you need to invest into the Wandering Rogue Den node if you want to invest into it. My node is on level 8. I don't have knowledge investment, so all of my mobs are pretty much C to A knowledge. So no increased loot chance for me. Then you want to pass through this little cave right here, and this is probably the first area you want to kill already, because as long as there are at least like 3 of those Wandering Rogues, it's always worth doing it, because the big ones, the giant Wandering Rogues, can actually drop, have the highest drop chance of dropping the forbidden books, the highest chance I should say, the highest chance of dropping the books, and the highest chance of dropping, or the only chance actually, of dropping Belt of Schultz the Gladiator and Necklace of Schultz the Gladiator. I'm just farming these because I'm just on my way to the next little spot. This is also not part of the rotation. The next few spots will not be a part of it. This spot is really good as well because there are like 5 giants. So whenever you walk out of my rotation, walk in, you could do this one. It's actually really effective. And the one in the back doesn't want to attack me yet. Of course you want to have 4 pets if possible, because looting it yourself is always a struggle. Then you can pull, I should say 3, probably 5 of those again. This is also not part of the rotation. As I said, the first few will all be some good spots you can grind at if it's overpopulated or overcrowded, but they're not part of the rotation. I will notice you if the rotation, or when the rotation starts. So let's close out those, loot them of course. This spot is also really good to pick up because they're again around 4 to 5. You can actually pick up those as well. Just hold them together, especially if you're a tamer, that is really good, since I can pull more mobs. Pick up those kills because they're pretty much free. Yes, so we picked up those. There's a little group up there with 3 of them. You can pick those up if you want. Also not part of the rotation though. Now we start with the rotation. Normally, actually, you wanted to start the rotation right here. Unfortunately, there's someone cleared this up already, so we will just go over to this piece here. Just imagine I cleared that other road. I mean, there will always be a couple of people grinding this, but normally it's actually pretty free. Of course, there's someone trying to steal my mobs too, but that's fine. It's all about the route, right? So I'll pick up those real quick. I mean, you can start the rotation anywhere you want. So, still, I mean, it's a circle, right? A rotation is normally a circle, so it doesn't matter where you start. Now, this is the important part. The moment you cleared all of this area out, you want to jump over this little hill, I should say, because in this area, the density of mobs is the highest. So there's like 5 to 6 Wandering Rogues just right around the corner, and no one really realizes how easy it is to get to this area. So this is probably the biggest little secret I can give you. And there are also a lot of elite spawns in this area, so always watch out if you see a little star on the map. Kill the elites, they have the highest chance of dropping basically anything in this area. Let's just pick up this little area here as well, which are like 3 to 4 most of the time. Ultimate, nice. Then you get into this little, I don't know, gap between the stones. There normally, some Wanderer should be spawning right here, and some should be spawning right here. And this one, of course, so they're around 3 in this little area. Maybe they spawn right now. Someone cleared them already, of course. Normally there are 3. I will just kill this guy and pretend that we killed 3 of them. Unfortunately, this is not the most fortunate turn of events, because all of these mobs would be really nice to show you, but then again, never lucky. Then you grind out all of the Wanderers up there, which should be 3, and then you pull together all of these down here, which should be 4. And we got lucky with this elite spawn right here, so we are kind of lucky. Let's see what the elite drops. Elites have I should say every like 3rd elite drops you a forbidden book, and every 2nd elite drops you a couple of blackstones, so they're always worth clearing if you see them. We got an ancient silver coin, not that bad. As you can see, the Wanderers are spawning right here again. I will just clear it for now, just to not waste any time. Come on guys, come on, attack me. Me and my pet. As I said, this route is effective. It's already effective when you're at like 120, 130 AP. And as you can see, these are spawning again already, so you want to pick up those again. So that was the whole rotation I wanted to show you. And for some little tips and tricks, have something else added. Be right back. Way back. Every single trash item, or I should say secondary item, secondary offhand weapon, which is below 50k on the marketplace, which is basically everything except needle trinket, steel dagger, bronze dagger, a steak star, and Jupiter talisman. Everything else should be below 50k on the marketplace, and all of these you can heat up. Actually, I should have heated 2 of those, like this, and sometimes, maybe we're lucky, most of the time you make profit out of this. Actually, pretty much, I should say 95% of the time you heat.
What's up everybody, Kinetic here, and welcome back to Black Desert Online. In this video I want to talk about a variety of different things, including how to craft vehicles, how to go fishing, and also how to make money from selling trade goods. It's pretty straightforward, but I can tell you that it can be a little annoying to craft vehicles if you don't know exactly what you're doing. And so I hope that this video can get forward to making a carriage or something like that. Is pretty straightforward and understandable. No matter which type of vehicle you make, a lot of wood. I didn't quite fully grasp how long it was going to take me to gather wood until I actually started doing it. Basically, I've had an NPC worker traveling from this 3rd city. This is the same city that you guys saw in my previous video about gathering, processing, and crafting. I've had an NPC worker like full time going back and forth, constantly getting wood from this site. Each run, he can pick up, I don't know, maybe anywhere from 5 to 10 logs of ash wood. Well, that may sound like a lot of wood, but for every 5 logs, that can make me 1 wooden plank, right? 5 logs makes 1 wooden plank when you process it, and I needed 50 planks. 50 ash wood planks just to make this rowboat. Times 5, right? Times 5, I needed that much in logs. That's a lot of freaking wood. And so what I've realized is that if you are thinking about making a vehicle here in Black Desert Online, you really want to try and get a head start as quick as you can and get access to a logging site where you can collect wood. So these nodes you can see here I've got connected. There's this middle node here that is connecting to the wood site, and that, again, like I've said in the past, allows an NPC worker to travel over there and gain that material for you. Knowing that now, even though I'm not actually ready to craft anything yet from this next city, I already have these nodes connected, and I've had, while I've been making this rowboat back in this town, I've had an NPC worker also going to this site back and forth from town to this Maplewood site, collecting Maplewood logs for me. So now you can see from my town storage, I've got 174 logs. This is a huge head start for me whenever I decide to get busy crafting my next vehicle. I know that from this house function here, you can actually make carriages. The importance of carriages in Black Desert Online is pretty significant. A carriage allows you to travel from town to town with trade goods and then try to sell them for a higher price depending on supply and demand. So for example, I may take some leathers or something like that from one city and then travel to another city with those leathers, and they'll have an NPC worker there, or excuse me, an NPC merchant that may buy them at a higher price than I bought them for from this city. So that's an example of what you can do, for example, with a carriage, and I'm looking forward to that. I think that that's going to be a lot of fun. But right now, currently I've traveled out here with my rowboat all the way out here to these islands, which didn't take as long as I thought it would. Surprisingly, the rowboat was actually quite fast. And you can see I can actually make another connection here. There's a node here that connects from here to this town here. Now, why would you want to connect a node from these islands to this town? Is there wood? Is there mining? No, actually, there isn't. The reason you want to connect, for example, this node here to this town, is that when I get done fishing and I travel from these islands with the fish back here into town and I try to sell them, by having these nodes connected, it will allow me to sell the fish for their full worth. If I don't have these nodes connected, then when I arrive here at the city, then I will have a 30% reduction in the amount that the fish are worth. It's kind of weird why you need to have these nodes connected just so that way you can get full price with your fish. But I suppose it kind of makes sense because you do also need, for example, to connect all these other nodes to all these other resources in order to gather en masse from them. So it kind of makes sense, kind of doesn't, because we're not sending PC workers out here, we're sending ourselves. But the same is true even not these islands. Like this is a mining node actually over here. And so I have, in the past, I've had NPC workers coming over here to this mining site and gathering, for example, iron or whatever from this site here. Funny thing I discovered is that I had finished gathering mining from this location and I closed it down, right? I went ahead and I got my contribution points back from this site, and then I actually went back to this area and I started doing fishing, and I came back to the town and they wouldn't give me full price. And so I realized that from whatever area that I am doing fishing from, I have to have a node that is unlocked in that area to get the full price for the fish that I catch from there. So there's a little heads up. There's kind of one of the little catches. Yes, you can pretty much fish anywhere, but if you want full price, you have to have a nearby node unlocked. Now I know that I'm probably not going to do any more fishing here anymore, especially now that I have access to a boat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refund my contribution points so that way I can spend them somewhere else. That's one of the genius things I think that they did here with Black Desert Online is you can spend your contribution points, but you can also get them back anytime that you want. I don't need this logging site anymore, for example, so I'm going to now close it down and get my point back. Same thing for the main node. Close it down, got my point back. You can see now that this connection is gray. It's no longer usable. You can do the same for here. This is just the main node itself. There is the main node that you will unlock simply as a travel path, And then there's the sub node, which you can sometimes unlock depending on the type of node for some kind of resource, like for example, mushrooms here and wood over there and stuff like that. So now I've got 5 contribution points back, whereas I only had 1 before. What I'm going to do now is with every one of these nodes, there is always something that you can talk to, be it a rock or a half-dead kid on a beach, whatever. And then you click on this, and this will give you the option to go ahead and unlock this node. So now there it is. I've got now these islands connected to the town. So now when I finish fishing here from these islands, I can go back and I can sell them for full price. Same thing with out here. I need to travel out here to these islands if I want to do fishing there, talk to an NPC, and then get that node unlocked. Let's go do that. Let's get in Dinkleboat. Dinkleboat actually has a pretty good amount of storage. For only being a rowboat, I was surprised to see that there are 8 slots here for putting stuff. So I just took a bunch of stuff from my inventory and I threw it in here because I want as much space as I can get for packing fish. Fish don't stack, unfortunately, so it fills up your inventory pretty quickly. You can see that there's there's water kind of in the boat. It's beta. I'm going to cut them some slack. It's beta. Hopefully they'll get that sorted out. Where am I going? I think I'm going to that island. Am I right? Yes. Going out to these islands out here. Alright. We're here at the next island. That didn't take long at all. That only took like maybe a minute to travel from that previous island out here. Come on, dude. Get out the boat. Let's go. Come on. There we go. And you must be the NPC. Yep. Here we go. I can click on this. And now click on this option. And it will spend, or I should say invest, my contribution point into this site. So now you can see that this node is now located to this node, connected to the town, so when I go fishing here, I'll get full price for the fish. Pretty cool. Alright, so where should I go fishing from? How about right here? That looks fine. Right about here. I don't know if there's any specific places that are better to fish at. Like I've noticed, for example, that if I look in the water in certain locations, I can actually see fish swimming around. I don't know if that means necessarily that that's a better place to be fishing, or whether they're just adding that effect. You never know. I mean, Black Desert Online is really good with kind of the little details that make a significant difference in what you do and what the outcome is of the things that you do. So who knows? Alright, so I've got my fishing pole equipped. I'm gonna press space really quickly and then cast my line. Just like in real life, fishing does take a bit of time here in Black Desert Online. You can actually speed up the rate at which fish will bite at your bait by spreading kind of like these crumbs or something like that into the water, but I don't have any of those. I'll have to bring some next time. Okay, so now you can see there's a little icon up there of a wiggling fish. That means that I've got a fish bite. So now if I hit space, I get like this little mini game right here, and then if I hit space again in the right spot, kind of finish stage 1, and now I have to enter in the commands correctly. B and W. There it is. I caught my fish. So that's the basics right there of fishing. It shows over here the fish that I caught. If I press R, it puts the fish now into my inventory. It's important to understand that you have to accept the fish, because if you just press space again without taking the fish, you lose the fish or whatever it is that you caught. So that's basically how fishing goes. You press space, you wait, you catch something like in a little bite, and then you snag it by hitting space again at the proper time, and then you have to enter in the different commands. Depending on the fish, you may have really simple commands like that, where it was only like 2 letters, or you may get something that is a lot of letters, and that usually is representation of the rarity and strength of the fish, which also, no surprise, is related to the value of the fish as well. This time I'm going to show you guys something different. Instead of just simply hitting space, to cast my line, I'm going to press and hold space, and this time it's going to do something different. By pressing and holding space, I'm kind of like charging up a powerful cast. You can see like this percentage steadily rising. I don't know all the benefits to doing those charged casts like that, but I imagine that it gives you, for example, a better chance at catching more rare fish, or at the very least, less of a chance of picking up junk like shoes and nets. Oh, we got something good this time. D-W-A-D-D. Ooh, what's this? That's something. I've got a green fish. Different types of fish come in different ranks of rarity. This is the first green fish that I've caught. You can see these are the first two fish that I caught earlier, and now I've caught this one. And you saw from the higher rarity of this fish, it's going to be more difficult in that little mini game. I mean, it's really easy, but you can see it's more difficult to enter in that string of commands than it was for the fish before that. And there's also a tier above this, a blue tier, and they probably have even more commands that you have to enter within the allotted time. Yes! That is what happens when you get a perfect right there. That first little mini game right there where the bar is filling up, if you hit it perfectly at the right time and get the bar filled, then you don't even have to do the second part of the mini game, entering in the letters. Sweet. Aha! Got another green fish. Sweet. Well, this fishing pole is completely spent in its durability. I did bring other fishing poles with me, but I think for now, what I'm going to do, first make sure I take that fish. Whew, okay. Now that I've caught some fish, what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to head back to town, and I'm going to visit the NPC merchant and try and sell these fish for some good money. Another interesting thing about selling fish is that the fish actually have a freshness rating and timer on them within 24 hours, real life 24 hours. From the time that you catch the fish, they will be their freshest and worth their full amount. If you take a break from Black Desert for like a day or two or something like that, and then try to come back and sell those fish, they will have actually lost freshness and value to them. Alright, I've arrived back in town. Get out of my boat. And to make sure that my boat is properly stored here. Oh, nice texture, dude. Taking a little bit of time for that texture to load. But go ahead and click on my boat here, select this option, and now it's storing my boat here with other vehicles at this dock. Your face looks better. Alright, so now that we have some fish, let's go to the NPC merchant, and we're going to talk to him about selling these fish. So pretty much every main town has an NPC like this. When you talk to them, it's pretty obvious that they're one of these NPCs. You'll click on their shopping cart, and then this menu will pop up. Now this is one of the trade systems. There is an auction house system, which I'll go over later in another video, but there is this really simple, like, supply and demand trade system here that you can use to quickly and easily gain materials or sell materials that you have. So we have selling items that are being sold by the NPC merchant and buying. Here it shows the value in terms of the money, their percentage, and their demand and things like that, and even a graph to show off the varying degrees of the pricing going on here. So we can see that this has been going down in value, this went sharply up in value, and things like that. You can see from the right-hand side here, it shows that currently these fish here are being sold for 109% of their normal value, and I'll get 240 silver for selling the fish to him. Now again, if I didn't have those nodes unlocked, there would be a 30% reduction on the value of this fish, and that would suck. So I'll click this button here, and it's going to sell my fish. You can also click on the fish, and it will show you from the fish category, what's been going on with the sell and pricing in general with each of the different fish here. You can see here's one of the bluefish I was talking about. Looks like an octopus of some sort, and those are worth quite a bit of cash. 2,463. That is nice. Up 130% from their normal value. Very nice. So eel is also selling pretty good. Wow, 10,000. That is awesome. I need to get me some of those fish. So there you go. That's how you can quickly, for example, sell fish just by clicking on the sell option here, the fish that you catch. Again, talking about kind of trading from city to city using the carriage. This is what you would do. First, they'll show off like a kind of like a hot item here. This item currently is now selling for 90% of its value, so it's actually cheaper by buying it now than it would be normally at 100%, right? And you can go through these different categories, see what the NPC is selling, and if you can, buy it for a cheap price, and then maybe take it via your carriage with your horse, go to another city, and then with a similar NPC like this, then try to sell the goods that you bought from this town over in that town for a profit. It's going to be some time, I think, before most players will have access to a carriage. So by simply going out and fishing, even without a boat, right? As long as you have the nodes unlocked, by going out there and fishing, you can pretty quickly gain a fair amount of money in a short time at even the earliest levels. Hey, that one's pretty good. 128%. Sweet. So that's a pretty good chunk of change there. And certainly, if I had stayed out there longer and caught more fish, then I'd have a lot more money to make from this NPC merchant. But that's going to be it for now for fishing and for this video. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Leave me your thoughts and your questions if you have any about vehicle crafting, about fishing, about selling to the NPC merchants and stuff like that in the comment section. Click the like button to support these Black Desert Online videos, and I'll keep them coming out as quick as I can. Stay subscribed, more is on the way. Thanks again for watching. My name is Kinetic, and I'll see you next time.
What is up, Pyromaniacs? Pyrostasis here, and this is an update to my fishing guide. My previous fishing guide, I believe, was 200 to 400,000 an hour, and it's not going to be too much different from this one, but I'm just going to show you guys a few techniques that are going to help revamp your earnings, make you fish a little quicker, and then more importantly, what a hotspot is, how to find them, and the one that I'm currently using as of right now. Now, what is a hotspot? A hotspot is basically a place where you have a much higher percentage chance to get blues and yellow fish. Well, I just put it out there. These places are areas out in the water that, just for whatever reason, you're going to get mainly blues and yellows. You're not going to get hardly any trash, and you're hardly going to get any garbage fish. You will have to throw a few away from time to time, but for the most part, it's 100% good stuff. And then the key for doing well out here, obviously, is getting the highest fishing ability that you can. Now, when you first start off, which my first video was referencing, you're going to have a hard time getting this level of fishing gear, and the reason behind that is because you're not going to have the requirements to use it. So what is the equipment that I'm talking about? Well, let me show you guys first off. The first piece of equipment is the thick fishing rod. Now, you can buy these off the marketplace if you want. I simply make mine in Vela. It's not really that hard. Let me show you guys. Velia down here, or I don't know why I keep calling it Velia. Well, is it Velia? That may be actually the name of it. Vela. I don't know why I keep calling it Vela. I for whatever reason, I have a hard time pronouncing these things. Anyways, in Velia, there is second floor right here. Not that one. Sorry. First floor right here. There's a tool workshop, and you can get it to rank 2. Once it's to rank 2, you have the ability to make thick fishing rods. And thick fishing rods just require ash timber, copper ingots, and blackstone powder. Blackstone powder can be refined right here pretty easily. All you need is rough stone, which you can get pretty much in bukus at any of the mining areas. Pretty much this whole area right up in here, you can get some. You can find it in a lot of locations. The tricky part is the copper ingots. If you get your processing skill high enough, you can actually make copper ingots yourself with processing. But not everybody does, and especially early on, that's kind of a pain in the ass. However, this house right here has a mineral workbench. You can use that. Come down here. I forget which one of these it is since it's not lit up. Right there, copper ingot. And all you need is melted copper shards. Now you can get that by simply going out, getting copper, and then smelting some copper ore into these copper shards, and then your worker can process it there. It's a little bit of in-depth stuff because you're going to have to go and do some mining, etc., etc. But pretty much one of these fishing poles right here will net you damn near a full, 40 fish, depending on your skill and your location. Now, I was telling you guys about hotspots. This is the current hotspot that I'm using. It's just northwest of Weta Island. You are going to need some contribution points to get out here. One for Vela, one for Lubiano, one for Paratama, and then one for Weta. Obviously, you can pick up some of the rest of these if you want to go around and look at some of these other slots, but your best bet for easy early on fishing is right here. Now, how much can you make an hour? It kind of depends on your skill. It kind of depends on your boat. It depends on your equipment, etc., etc. So I'm going to go ahead and hop on my boat real quick. I'm going to set a waypoint back here so I can continue showing you guys the setup. By and large, setting up waypoint like this and letting your boat automatically go in is probably one of the worst ways to auto back in because you're just going to take forever. Your boat's going to constantly look at this path right here. You're going to constantly be making course correction changes, and it's not very efficient. You'd be better off going straight out here and straight out here. But since I'm going to be showing you equipment for right now, I don't really care. Anyways, so like I said, you're going to want the fishing rod. You can use this at, I believe, beginner level 10. Yes, beginner level 10. You can see that I am apprentice 9. Getting to beginner level 10 is going to take a little bit of beginner fishing, so I would use my first guide that I gave you to get to about beginner 10, and then you can use this one to kind of go from there. You can also use this one right here to go up, but it may require a little bit of investment. Now, because of the distance that we are out here at Weta Island, you're going to need to get a boat to get out here. I mean, technically you could swim out here, but it is off the shore. So because it's out here and not here, you can't fish from the shore and get access to the hotspot. The hotspot's only about the size of my boat here, maybe a little bit smaller, or a little bit bigger, but not too much bigger. So you're going to need a boat. Raft is the first one that you build. There's a quest to get you to build it. The problem with the raft is it's slow as balls. This is I think it's a Cephalano or whatever ferry. There's two different types of ferries. This was the only one that was on the market, and I just didn't want to build my own for the time being. So I just bought it. Wasn't a big deal, and it's much faster than that. The other pieces of equipment that you're going to want, or I guess piece, is the apprentice fisher's uniform. Now this you get, same thing, you have to be level 10 beginner to use. You get this from doing the fishing quests in Valia. I don't remember which one of the 3 fishing merchants, or not merchants, but quest givers on the dock eventually gives it to you, but you have to bounce back and forth between the 3 guys doing their quests until it eventually leads there, and they will gift it to you. It's a good idea to do those quests anyway, because those quests will reward you with experience, which will speed up the process of getting to beginner 10. And most of them have dailies, which you can do once a day. The only problem is they're heavily fished and heavily competed areas, so you're going to have, a lot of junk and things like that there. Not only that, but overall, you're not going to make a whole lot of cash in that area, but it might be worth it to get the EXP from the quests, possibly. And like I said, you've got to do them anyway for the gear. Coincidentally, if you don't want to do that, you can come all the way down here to Heidel. I don't know if there's one in Valia. Right here, the luxury merchant, Dora Fontini, I believe is who it is. It's right across the street from the marketplace. You can buy most crafting and trade skill equipments from her, or him. I don't know if it's a him or her. And it will give you a boost. But anyways, you've got +1 with this, you've got +1 with that gives you +2, and you're going to notice I'm at 3. The other point that I'm getting is from my food. Well, technically I'm getting 2 points from my food because my fishing rod isn't equipped. So, Balanos Special, you can get fishing speed rank 2. So that's going to give you 2. So if you've got 2 from that, 1 from the chest piece right here, and 1 from the fishing rod, that's going to give you a total of 4. Right now, there's an Easter special going on. If you pick up one of the eggs while you're fishing and you blow that, that will give you 5. And in that instance, you are literally pulling a fish almost every 20 to 30 seconds, if not faster. So that makes you fill up an inventory very quickly. I have a very small inventory, so unfortunately, it's still not very efficient for me yet. But if you have 60, 70, 80, 90 slots for your inventory, you can actually make a ridiculous amount of cash out of it. Now this is about, I would say this was about 20 minutes worth of fishing, maybe 30 minutes worth of fishing. For me, I was surfing the web, doing my taxes and different things while setting this up, so definitely not the fastest that you can do, and I'm not exactly the bestest of skills at the moment, so I'm probably not pulling as good as I can. But let's go see how much money we make on this haul. Now, one of the critical things you are going to want to remember is before you go to the trader, especially if you've just been out fishing, your inventory is going to be full. You cannot, for whatever reason, sell to a trader while your inventory is full. So make sure that you free up that 1 slot before you go to the trader. Now, I'm just going to hit the one up here in Valia. You can run all the way to Heigl. If you go to Heigl, you will get a slightly better rate, I believe. In fact, we'll go ahead and check that just to make sure. So right here at Bahar, we do the trade. You see we've got a 17% distance bonus because our stuff is from Weta. Let's go ahead and run over and see if we get an increased distance bonus in Heidel. Alright, so here we are. We are now in Heidel. And if we talk to her, you can see we're up to 24%. So that's an extra, 7% for moving here? I don't know if 7% is going to be worth it to you. 7% per 100 is 7, per 1,000 is 70, per 10,000 is 700. So that's an extra 1,500-ish, roughly, give or take for that. Now, when you get here, you're going to make sure that you obviously have enough energy so that you can bargain. From what I understand, this minigame is pretty much completely random. I've heard there are some people who believe that, you know, if you do this or that you can get 100% success. I've tried many different methods. I've had no luck with it. It could just be me. We are at 420K right now, respectively. We click sell, go ahead, and now we are at 915K, which puts us at roughly 500K per 30 minutes for right at 1 million silver per hour. Keep in mind, your mileage is going to vary. If you, obviously, if that hotspot is way overcrowded, which I have not seen it that way yet. I've checked it at prime time and I've checked it at off prime time. It's pretty much like there were 8 people at it today during prime time and I was still able to pull this much. I've tried it, right now at non-prime time and there was nobody there for the majority of this video. It's fairly unknown. If you're really into fishing and you've gone and looked at some of the guides on Reddit, you may have seen somebody post about the area and you may have found it, but the average person just randomly bullshitting around probably is unaware of it. So it's a good spot. It's going to earn you, like I said, about $1 million an hour, depending on your travel time. Because if you choose to go to Heidel every time you come back, if you've only got 20 slots in your inventory, if you are in a raft, those things are going to slow you down. If you're in a faster boat, if you have 70 slots in your inventory and you sell quickly, you could make even more than that. So that's my new updated fishing guide. I will be updating this again soon with deep sea fishing, harpooning, whale fishing, things like that in the future, and probably be giving you guys some of my other locations that I find as I learn more about the game. So if you found this video helpful, please slap that like button. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip.
Bravo is clear, we got it. under attack, guys. Hey, hostiles just entered near you at Bravo.